Hi, I'm Lucinda Edinburgh, and I'm the art educator for the Mitchell Gallery at St. John's College. And I'm pleased to present another piece of artwork from our Unseen Treasures series, which are pieces of artwork that are on the St. John's College campus that are not necessarily seen to the public because they've been in conservation, or they're in offices, or in storage, or places that just aren't accessible to the public. So I am pleased to talk about this wonderful print, Albert's Poppies, by Beth van Hoesen. And you can see it's signed by Beth over here in the corner, 1991. This is the 22nd print out of a series of 50, so that means there were 50 of these prints, and this is number 22. And then over in the corner, she's written in pencil, Albert's Poppies. And this print really is a great example of aquatint and etching. And her style and her technique is just really kind of the Olympics in printmaking. She's used a number of techniques to create this work, but she's a good draftsman, and that's the other part of it too. She has training. She went to Stanford, she went to Académie Julienne, she went to a number of art schools, including the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris and the California School of Fine Arts, which is where she met her husband, Mark Adams, who is also an artist and designer and also designed tapestries. And so they married there in California, and they bought a firehouse, and they lived in the firehouse and created their studio there, and they entertained the likes of Wayne Thiebaud and Theophilus Brown, who were part of this figurative movement. She's best known for her animal figures, and not too many of portraits, but a few. Some landscapes, but lots of flowers and vegetables. And so the college is really fortunate to own this print, along with about 12 others. Van Hoesen is known for her printmaking technique because she tests every technique and just pushes it as far as it can go. And using etching and aquatint and hand coloring and all of these various things. And she's just created this dynamic image. So what she's done is created the aquatint background. And aquatint allows to give you a gradation in color, whereas flat etching you would not be able to do. But it's the aquatint that allows for the full blocks of color. So the aquatint process involves a metal plate that's got this sort of wax on it. It's a soft ground. And you take rosin, and it's like a fine sawdust, and you sprinkle that over the plate and run it through the press so it makes these indents in the copper plate. Copper's very soft. And you put it in acid bath, and what it does is it pits the plate and makes this little dot pattern. And so depending on how long you keep it in the acid bath and how you sprinkle the resin on will determine how many little pits are in it. And that's what gives it that gradation, kind of like DPI in computer printing. This was probably done in 5 or 6 different passes on the press, beginning with the orange and then building up. So this area going from the dark orange up to the light would be one pass. And so with the orange, the green, the red, the black, this other orange, so that's about 5. And so that means that this print had to go through the press a number of times, that there would be either separate plates for these or be inked at alternative times. And so there's a registration. That means when everything meets up. And I was just taking the magnifying glass to look at it, and the registration is pretty amazing, and how the colors overlap. You can see all the detail in the work. You can see this crisp outline that she's done around the poppies. So when you look at the print, you see these poppies straightforward, to the side, as if they're a little bit windblown or a little bit tattered. And so there's nothing too perfect about them. And so she's given different views. She's given almost an aerial view, a frontal view, a side view, and they all have so much motion even though there's a sort of stencil-like quality about them. She's done etching and aqua tint, which I talked about earlier, but I think she's done some hand coloring too. So these little hairy things that are on the poppy stem were probably done by hand with a fine brush. I do know that she did hand coloring on some of this with gouache, which is a chalk water base watercolor. They're so delicate, you know, you can almost sort of feel them. And you can see the line art that's in here. So that's what the traditional technique is, taking a scribe and scratching into the plate with a line. So looking at this black area here, I was thinking that the white had just been painted on top, but I can see that there are little spaces and the red peeks through. So that means she left that area open for that white to go into, which, you know, in a printmaking process is just phenomenal to be this detailed. And this poetry about it, things that just really flow. There's nothing stiff about any of this. And this combination of fitting all these pieces together and the registration being so tight, along with a little bit of hand coloring and the range of techniques that she used, is just really testimony to her mastery of her trade, because she printed these herself, and along with a printmaker, and her artist eye. You know, she really was a real master, and I was sorry that I didn't know about her until I curated this exhibition. And once I became familiar with her, then I realized she's everywhere. She's left really quite an amazing legacy, and we here at the college are just so fortunate to have 13 of her works.